Well, we did it, guys. In October, we finally broke 8% on mortgage interest rates. But how will that affect the housing market as we move into the holiday season? Let's get into your November market update and discuss.
Real estate success without the BS.
Mortgage rates finally broke the 8% mark after months of gradual upward movement in the 7% range. And at the same time, existing home sales fell to the lowest levels in more than a decade. Pretty gloomy stuff, but there are silver linings and perhaps even some overly optimistic Kool-Aid that we could drink. But as always, I'm going to try and focus on the warm bowl of porridge that's in the middle. As I just mentioned, existing home sales and mortgage interest rates are the gloomy. But unlike the last time that home sales were this low, we're in the midst of a supply shortage as opposed to a glut. And that has allowed the housing market to be much more resilient in terms of home prices. In fact, in year-over-year terms, prices are already back into positive territory. And when it comes to existing home sales where the inventory depends on homeowners wanting or needing to sell, with many of those homeowners owning their home outright or paying 2 to 3% mortgage rates that they obtained in 2020 or 2021, the reluctance to give that up in favor of a 7 or 8% interest rate should be no surprise. And we definitely have to focus on interest rates because that is what will change the dynamic for the market moving forward. And for those who want to take, the silver linings into potential Kool-Aid territory, we could start to look at things like the balance of recent Fed comments, which suggests that the Fed is done hiking rates unless inflation flares up in an unexpected way. That has some market participants declaring that the big shift in rates has arrived. But the proverbial warm bowl of porridge is somewhere between the gloomy and the hope, as it usually is. And it's almost impossible to perfectly define in terms of scope and timing. But there are ways to make cases for both outcomes. But the actual outcome will be driven by economic data. And the good news is that the Fed expects a certain measure of resilience in that data. They're not going to freak out if unemployment remains under 4% or GDP rises above 4%. As long as inflation continues to moderate and the economy doesn't really accelerate at an unsustainable level, they're pretty sure they're done hiking rates. The next announcement is actually today, November 1st, and the Fed is not expecting to hike, but markets will be attuned to any verbiage changes in the statement. We're especially focused on the jobs report that's due out on Friday, November 3rd. If it reiterates the uncanny strength of the previous report, Team Gloom is going to score some points. But if it paints a much more moderate picture, the Kool-Aid will be looking like the safer option to drink. And as far as pricing goes in our area, we can expect some softening in the condo and co-op space, especially those in the lower price point, as rate increases can drastically change the typical buyer demographic for those properties' numbers. But single family and multifamily homes are still seeing multiple offers and steady prices as their desirability, utility, and scarcity keeps it afloat. And then you add in the fact that most sellers will be going into hibernation for the upcoming holiday season. I really don't see that changing anytime soon. But as always, each property and their owner situations and needs are unique, and solving the problems that come along with buying and selling homes in this tough market is a dangerous game to play by oneself. And I want to put money in your bank and not have you leave it on the table. So if you have any questions, or if there's anything that I can help with, real estate or otherwise, please let me know. I will see you guys in 2 weeks for the featured listings email. I'm looking forward to it. And until then, take care.